Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So I'm very excited because I finally got my hands on the brand new NATASHA Denona I Need a Nude midi palette, and it's gorgeous. And I was gonna buy this regardless whether I was doing a video or not, and I had always intended to do a video. I got this pretty quickly. I did purchase it through NATASHA Denona website because I have an affiliate. So I'm affiliate, I have an affiliate link, and I have a promo code, so I was able to save 15%. I'm also not Rouge on Sephora, so I couldn't get it early, and it went on sale on NATASHA Denona's website the same day it went on sale on Sephora for everybody. So it ended up costing it $69. It ended up costing me like $58 and some odd cents. And but I got it, and it arrived really quickly, and then I just haven't had a chance to film. We had the announcement of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, so I had to get those videos up, and then I just haven't had a chance to film. So but I'm gonna do it because it is gorgeous, and I'm so excited. So I'm gonna try and do something. I have watched a few videos, I will be honest. I have watched a few videos because I wanted to see what people were comparing, and I will tell you what a lot of people are saying is that you can see how gorgeous it is. A lot of people are saying is that they don't find any like real comparisons in their collection. And I will say, I have looked at my collection. Obviously I have a pretty large eyeshadow collection. However, it's probably not as large as some others, but I don't really have that many like cool tone palettes like this. So I'm gonna try and do something different. I am going to be swatching. I'm gonna swatch all the mattes together, and then I'm gonna swatch the shimmers together, but I'm also gonna swatch the ones that are close because there are a lot of shades that are close. But anyway, here is the palette. Let's get into it and talk about everything about the I Need a Nude palette. Okay, and reading from the NATASHA Denona website, it's introducing the I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette, a cool-toned color story featuring 15 new, enchanting, muted, rosy, and nude shades. Alongside NATASHA's iconic formulas, the I Need a Nude palette debuts a brand new wet effect sparkling and glossy finish formula, illuminating any eyeshadow look with an ethereal touch of glistening sparkle. This midi-size palette features 2 high shine metallic, 7 buttery soft mattes, and 3 captivating sparkling foiled finishes, complemented by 3 eyeshadows in the new wet effect formula with sparkling and glossy finishes. And it also states that it is mineral oil free, paraben free, cruelty free, and it is made in Italy. Now, I did mention this is $69. I do have a promo code with NATASHA Denona. It is simply Shannon. It will save you 15% off, and it will be 15% off on any order. So whether it's, you've shopped 15 times, it doesn't matter. So I love that, and I still can't believe that I have, a promo code with NATASHA Denona. But now when this first was leaked, it looked more silvery and looked more cool toned. It definitely is more rosy than the initial, I guess, leaked photos implied. But one thing I noticed when I did open it is that there's a lot of mattes, but there's only really one deep matte. There's a lot of mid-tone mattes. There's one light matte, which is called Fair, which I do really like that one, and there's one deep one. So I like that because I don't really use the deep one. I just use it to deepen the outer corner. So I don't need maybe one more to get like a little option, but I don't think that's going to make a big difference. I did see some people not like that. They did wish that there was more than one. So for me, I'm fine with that. I am curious as to how close the other mattes are, and then I'm also curious as to how close the other shimmers are. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Is I'm going to have a swatch. Before I put anything on my eyes, I'm going to swatch everything, but I'm going to swatch them not in the order how they are in the palette. I'm going to swatch them in the order as far as lightest to darkest mattes. And then I'm going to go in with the 2 high shine metallics, swatch them together, together. The sparkling foiled, I'll swatch them together, and then I will swatch the 3 with the wet finish together. And then we'll kind of compare those, see how close they are together. Okay, so we're gonna start with the mattes, and we're gonna start with this shade Fair. This is Fair, and Fair is described as a matte, light, misty rose. Next is the shade Mesh, and this is described as a matte, light, dusty rose. Next is Stone, and this is a matte, light, medium, warm taupe. This is Tender. This is a matte, medium taupe. Next we have Wit, which is a matte, light, warm rose. Next is Vague, which is a matte, medium, warm, dusty rose. And then finally, this is Silhouette, a matte coffee bean brown. Okay, so there are the 7 mattes, and you can kind of see the lightest to darkest. And even though this is the deepest, this is Silhouette, it's not that much deeper than, I think this is Tender. So it's a little deeper, but you could even use this as a outer corner if you wanted to go not as deep, but this isn't gonna give you as much depth as other palettes. I think it's going, I mean, honestly, I think this is a beautiful bridal palette, but those are the mattes. They're gorgeous. They swatched good, not great, but that usually doesn't necessarily mean how it's going to be on the eye. So I think they transferred good. But yeah, I think they're gorgeous, and you know, I think it's exactly what to be expected from this palette. Okay, so now we're gonna swatch all the other like metallic, foiled, and the wet effect shades. We're gonna start with the 2 high shine metallic, and the first is going to be Whisper, and this is described as a metallic light nude pink. And the next is Travertine, which is a metallic soft amber. Next are the sparkling foiled, and this is going to be Muse, which is a sparkling foiled champagne. Ella, a sparkling foiled warm fawn. And Filigree, a sparkling foiled medium neutral brown. And now for the wet effect, this is going to be Mia, a sparkling wet effect icy pink. Sheen, a glossy wet effect warm champagne. And Delilah, a sparkling wet effect silver brown. Okay, so those are the 8 like shimmery shades. So you have the 2 metallics, the 3 foiled, and the wet effect. Now I guess these were the wet effect that they did the one that was on Instagram, but I don't know. I feel like they were probably a different, I don't know. I have to look back at that, but because I wasn't going to get it with these. No, I think these are gorgeous, and I like that these 3 of the new wet effect are very, very different between the 3. I will say these 2 are very close. These 2 that are sparkling foiled, very close. There's a depth, but they're very close. I wish they were a little bit different. Other than that, I think there's a lot of, you know, diversity between these shades. However, you're gonna get, you know, this is a very neutral, cool toned, you know, palette. Rosy, mauve-y. I think it's gorgeous. It's already sold out at Sephora. I think it's going to be very, very popular, very wearable, but are you gonna get a diversity of looks? Probably not that much. And I have to say, looking at these swatches, I was just about to wipe them off. My favorite shade right now is Muse. I mean, Muse, I think, and that's a sparkling foiled. That's not one of these new wet effects. That one is just, wow. I don't even think it's transferring on camera. It is just gorgeous. Like that is, to me, that makes the palette. As far as the quality of Natasha Denona, I think it's pretty much, it's consistent. It seems like it's going to be great. I think what you're going to get with this palette is very similar looks, and not similar in a bad way. I think you're going to get very consistent looks. The one thing I like about this palette, and I think the reason why it has sold out, is that I am going to use every single shade. I cannot say that for a lot of palettes. There's a lot of palettes where there is 1, 2, sometimes even more shades that I just don't reach for. This palette is one I'm going to use every shade because there is only 1 dark shade. So that is one that I'm going to use for the deep end for a lot of times. So I got interrupted by my son. I totally forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I'm going to do a basic look. I'm going to go with the pinky, which is the warm, which is funny because it's very cool toned. And then there's these 2 warm shades, and those are the 2 I'm gravitating towards. So I'm going to to use Wit as my transition shade, and I'm going to go in with my Rephr 27, and I'm just going to go in all over the lid like I normally do, and place that just kind of all over and use that as a transition shade. I'm going to go with a very, just again, basic look, my normal look, just to see. I think this is going to be a very consistent palette, one that you're going to get very, very pretty looks. But again, like I was saying, I will be using every single shade. Okay, so that is Wit, and Wit is the matte light warm rose. So I use that on both sides, and I'm going to go in with this Tender. I'm going to see how much I can deepen the eye look with Tender. If it's not deep enough, I will go in with Silhouette, but I'm curious to see how deep, because when I swatched them, it wasn't that much lighter than Silhouette. So I'm curious to see how deep I can get that one, and if that one can work. Yeah, it actually looks like I could use it. And it won't be that deep, but it's definitely deep enough to go in. Okay, so just as I expected, that Tender shade is enough to go on the outside. So it's not a very deep outer corner, but it's a good, I would say it's like medium dark, but I think it's a good, so you actually do have two shades to go on the outside. You have this Tender shade, which is the one I used, and then the Silhouette shade. So the Silhouette shade is obviously deeper, but it looks deeper in the pan, whereas this Tender one can be built up, and which is what I did. So again, I really like how it came out. Definitely as enough to deepen it a little bit and give some depth, but not too much depth. And while I am dying to use this Muse shade, that's the shade I really want to use. I am going to go in with one of the wet looks. So I'm going to go in with the shade Delilah, and I'm just going to go in with my finger. So the Muse shade, I think we've seen the sparkling foiled for Natasha Denona. They're gorgeous. Like, to me, that is the shade that is just amazing in the palette. But I want to see how this wet, effect looks on the lid. I think it's going to be gorgeous. So I'm taking the shade Delilah with my finger and just patting it on my finger and putting it on the lid. So I'm just going to do it like that, and it goes on really nicely. I'm going to be curious if it goes on better with a brush. I don't think it would. Usually Natasha Denona does go better on with the finger, but it is really pretty, and I'm liking it so far. Okay, so that is Delilah on the lid. I think it's really pretty, but I'm not, like, I think it's really pretty, don't get me wrong. I think it's gorgeous. I just don't really understand the hype behind those shades. I don't know. Maybe those weren't the shades that she swatched, but I just saw that video on Instagram and I thought they were going to be, I feel like they're more toppers. So I think it's gorgeous. I love it. It's great. I'm just a little confused. Maybe I'm using it wrong. I don't know. But I'm going to go now in with the shade Mia, which is this one in the inner corner. Mia is the Sparkling Wet Effect Icy Pink, and I am just going to do that in the inner corner. Just to have two shades on there on both sides. And again, like, I think they're gorgeous, but I'm not getting the same effect that they did in that video. Okay, there it is with Mia in the middle. And then I forgot to mention, Delilah again is the Sparkling Wet Effect Silver Brown. So I used 4 shades. I think they're gorgeous. Same Natasha Denona quality, everything I love and know about, everything. So let me finish up, kind of clean it up a little bit, put the lash line, put some mascara on, and then I will come back. Okay, so I am back. I just cleaned it up. I put a little bit of the Tender shade, the one I use on the outer corner. I put that on the bottom in a combination with the shade Wit. And I did go in with the Mia, I think it's Mia, yeah, Mia on the brow bone as well. So the wet effect I think are pretty. I don't think like they're groundbreaking formulas, to be honest. You know, the foiled shades though, the 3 foiled shades that are in here, I think are stunning, especially that shade Muse. Like I cannot wait to dip into Muse. And then Ella and Filigree are the other 2 foiled shades. I think they're gorgeous, but they're very, very similar. So I wish there was just a little bit more difference between those 2, because I think the foiled shades are the prettiest in the palette. So that's the only thing. But I think that Muse shade, like I feel like that's going to be the one I hit pan first, or probably might be the only shade I hit pan on. This palette's gorgeous. I think it is. I won't say it's versatile. I think it is going to be popular, and the reason why it's sold out on Sephora already is because it is one that, again, I'm going to use every shade. I love this palette. I think it's gorgeous, but I don't think you're going to get a huge variety of looks. However, I'm thinking we're going away on vacation for Labor Day weekend. I'm thinking, I wonder if I could just take this palette and just use this palette. And I won't have a huge, you know, variety of looks, but we're going to theme parks, so it's not going to be, you know, huge difference. But I'm thinking about that. Like, could I do that? Like, could I get enough of a look, you know, I tend to just bring a different palette for each day. Like, that's the type of person that I am. But I'm thinking about that. I don't know if what I'll do, but I definitely will be bringing this palette though, for sure. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. I have no regrets buying it. I think that this is probably going to be up there. Is it my favorite? I'm not sure. I was working on a ranking for my MIDI palettes, because there are now 11. There was 10 with the last one, with the Yucca palette, and I thought, perfect. I like round numbers. I'm one of those people that I like round numbers. So I started working on the ranking, and then they announced this one. So now we have 11. That really bothers me. It's the same thing with the motherships. So there's 11 motherships. So I'm going to be doing rankings, but this is definitely in the top 5 for sure. Probably even the top 3. But you know, I don't know. We'll see. But let's compare. Let's do some a couple comparisons. Don't have much to compare to because I don't have many cool tone palettes, but I do want to kind of just do some side-by-side comparisons, just so you can kind of see, you know, what it looks like compared to other palettes. Okay, first up, I'm going to do what everybody's been doing, is comparing it to Glam, and you can kind of see this is I Need a Nude, this is Glam, and Glam is definitely more silver, more gray. I don't think they're similar. It's not even worth swatching. I think they're very different palettes, just everything. And I like Glam, but I didn't love Glam like other people. I definitely like I Need a Nude more than Glam. So, you know, if you love Glam and Glam is like your holy grail, then maybe you won't like this. I don't know. But I don't think they're that close. Then I did bring out my Divine Rose. Not that I think it's that similar, and it's not, but just because it's like really the only cool toned high-end palette. Again, this one's definitely more deeper. I think some of the shades are different, but again, it's going to be very, very different. So I think this one's going to give you more depth than this one. Now, I do want to do a couple comparisons with something that I haven't seen other people compare to, and that is the Hypnotizing Pop Shots from Charlotte Tilbury. Now, these are discontinued. You can't get them anymore. However, there are a few, specifically 2 shades that I think there are some comparisons, and those are the shades that are probably the special ones in this palette. So first up, the one that I love the most is Muse. Muse is, to me, the special shade. That is the one that I am just going to hit pan on for sure. So that is Muse. So this is the Rose Gold Hypnotizing Pop Shot, and then this is Diamond Eyes. So again, so Rose Gold is probably not that comparable, probably more to Diamond Eyes. And even though this one is considered, Muse is considered a champagne, so is Diamond Eyes. They're very different, but similar looks. But I love Diamond Eyes, I love Muse, and you know, but again, they're not that similar, but kind of gives you the same effect. Next, I'm going to compare Smoky Quartz, which is the Taupe shade, to Delilah. So here they are side by side. You can kind of see very, very similar. So this is Smoky Quartz from Charlotte Tilbury, and then this is Delilah from the I Need a Nude palette. So these two now are very similar. Really, really similar. Now I'm wearing Delilah right now. It's gorgeous, and that's the wet effect, but I think they're very, very similar. So if you are looking for like that wet effect and you have the Smoky Quartz, you know, you're gonna get a similar effect. Now, great, like I could pair this with this. If I wanted a little bit more, I could just kind of put a little bit more on the lid. But you're gonna get, I mean, they're very, very similar. However, with the Hot Hypnotizing Pop Shots, one, they were single shadows, and then two, you can't get any more. And these were $34. So these were like, to get two, it was $68. To get a whole palette is $69. So obviously this is the better deal, and these are sold out, so they're discontinued. I think this palette is gorgeous. I love it. I have no regrets. However, if you are looking for a palette that has a lot of versatility, that you're going to get a lot of very different looks, this is not it. I think this is a palette that you're going to get consistent looks. You're going to get very similar looks. And I think they're going to be gorgeous looks, but they're going to be similar. So, but I think honestly, this is the mass market appeal for the palette. Quality is great. I will say the wet effect 3 shadows are, I won't say disappointing, but they're a disappointment because they were really, really hyped up. And I don't think those are the special shades in this palette. I think the sparkling foiled shades, specifically the shade Muse, are the ones that are the better shades. I think they're gorgeous. I think they're really pretty, but, and I think they're great. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but I don't think they're like groundbreaking. So I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but I think it's gorgeous. I definitely think you have some versatility with these, with this tender. It can be built up. And then this one is obviously the deepest shade, but you're not gonna get like a smoky, you're not gonna get a smoky eye look with this one. But I think you're gonna get like gorgeous. You can do this day look, evening look. You can do a lot with this palette. But as far as color versatility, you're not gonna get a lot of versatility. But I love it. It is definitely up there in my top 5, probably my top 3 for Natasha Denona. I think it's gorgeous. So as I mentioned, I do have a promo code with Natasha Denona. It is Shannon. And a lot of people did reach out and ask. I did post my affiliate link, so I do have an affiliate link. A lot of people did use my affiliate link, so thank you so much. That does a lot for my channel. It really helps. You know, when I'm spending $69 on a palette to review, it's a lot. And all of that helps, but then also it helps show the brand that people are using my link, so that maybe next time I will get this in PR. I don't know, but it does really help. So if any of you purchased using my affiliate link, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.